tactic that I'm using this winter.
Shut up.
Yeah.
This is not real.
Yeah, to moisturize. I am.
This is the way
you know when you
folks.
get dry up there, like all the time, because like nobody's using the humidifiers in their house. How many humidifiers have you seen being used in people's houses? Or when you do the inspection, the inspector's like, humidifiers working great.
You're right.
Okay, nobody's using them. Everybody's dry. People with allergies, though, they need that humidifier, and it's because of the nasal passages. And what I'm trying to do is this winter treat my nasal passages like the very important, I don't know, organ that I have. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep them moisturized, and I'm going to get through this whole winter without a sinus infection.
Okay, but I need to understand the exercise that I just heard.
Oh, yeah.
What that has to do with the hell you're talking about.
I was actually clearing the channels because there's some Arm & Hammer saline solution up there. It's eucalyptus. You can buy it on Amazon. If you go to my link tree, there's a link so you can buy it right there. It's really good stuff.
And listen, love you to death. Still calling BS because
Yeah.
you're waging war on sinus infections.
Yeah.
But you don't have a humidifier hooked up in your home.
Now, I'm just constantly
Why?
humidifying my passages.
No. Why haven't you got a humidifier hooked
I
up
don't
in the
know
house?
if that will do it, And what if?
Well, guess what? We know what's not doing it, which is not doing anything. But continue.
I'm doing the thing. That's what I'm telling you. Order the Arm & Hammer nasal solution, saline solution off of my link tree. That's a new part of our podcast now. We're just selling stuff all the time.
Now listen.
We just bought these things. Is this linked in? Can I get this link? I'll put this on my Amazon affiliate thing.
Okay. Get paid. I actually want you to know that I do have a whole home humidifier hooked up to my house.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just a very quick story. Listen, I was like you. I felt like, the juice maybe not worth the squeeze. Didn't want to hear how much I was going to get charged to have a system like that. Could you get that system added to your HVAC after the fact?
Got to be so expensive.
You got to be, right? But I'm a Home Depot man. And I always go through the clearance section because you never know what your buddy Clarence has for you. Huh. And on this day, they had 2 different whole house humidifiers marked down so much that I couldn't afford to not buy them. Fellas, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know y'all ladies, that girl math. Yeah, this is guy math. I couldn't afford to not buy them. So I live in one home. I bought 2 humidifiers, and I think for both of them, I might have paid $130.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I paid a licensed HVAC person to hook this up to my house. It's got a line that actually goes outside the house that can tell the humidity outside.
There are meters?
Absolutely. And then, of course, it's got the sensor that can tell what the relative humidity is inside your house. You can set it to the target humidity that you want. And it's very, very simple technology. All it is a water line that is hooked up to your HVAC system that allows water to go into a little grid so that the air that blows through it now is moisturized. It's that simple, and it only cost me maybe $250 to have hooked up in my house. So we're talking about less than $400 investment.
Really?
And I swear to God, it has made a difference. My son hasn't had a nosebleed since we've had it hooked up.
Oh, okay.
Number 2, okay? Think about this. This is something we've always known, okay? What does humidity do in the summertime? It makes things feel hotter.
Yes.
Guess what? It's no different in the wintertime either. So what that means is the air temperature will be what it is, but when it is humid, the capacity for the air to hold on to heat increases. Therefore, it feels what? Hotter.
Yeah. This is quantum physics, guys.
Yes. So for people like me who don't want to see the thermostat any higher than it has to be, just allowing my home to feel 2 to 3 degrees warmer on the same temperature, it's worth every single dollar that I spent. Go out and get you a humidifier. It's not that big of a deal. And the second one, I gave to my in-laws as a Christmas present because they didn't have one in their brand new house.
I should have.
And they love me even more now.
I should have said something before. I should have mentioned this strategically before Christmas, just in case that
could have been
for one of the homeboys.
Absolutely been you.
So you're telling me that you put in a whole home humidifier just on your furnace.
Yeah.
And this is keeping humidity in the air, and this is keeping
It's
your
adding
home.
humidity to the air.
Oh yeah,
You know,
adding
literally.
humidity, allowing it to keep the heat that you're already putting into the house longer or
That's right.
better, and you're probably needing to put less heat into the house and spend less on your gas bill. Is that right?
That's 100% the truth. I mean, think about it, guys. Everywhere there's a heat register and there's air coming into the room, it's moisturized air. And then and as soon as the winter time is over and things start to get humid outside, I can turn that baby off, close the louver that allows that moisturized air to come in.
Yeah.
And we're good for the summer.
They always have a summer switch and a winter switch, or somebody has written on there with a marker the line for summer and the line for
Here's
winter.
the part that I don't understand is why do you need that louver when you can just simply turn the water off to the humidifier? That's the part that I don't quite understand.
Somebody
yet.
tell us. If somebody's listening,
Yeah.
we need that answer.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's the Homeboys, and we're talking about humidity, so you know it's going to be a great episode.
You came back, and we love that. We
right.
need you guys. You
That's
need
right.
us, don't you?
That's right. Well, you're getting about 15% more of us today because our executive producer has decided to remove the Jason mask from in front of us, and we now have puffballs. Okay, so you can see a little bit more of our gorgeous grills.
I've been hiding behind that. I haven't perfected my technique or how I'm going to do it here. But, actually, man, you read my mind, Neil. Thank you for doing that. I've been actually being subdued, and it's time to let it all hang out.
That's right.
That's what we're here for today.
To hang.
With the Homeboys.
Hello.
Today is January 22nd. It's 2025. There are things changing all over the place. We're here with our regular segments. We've got Home Field Advantage. We're going through homeology. We've got Full House Party, and we bring it all around to the home stretch at the end, where sometimes we hit a home run.
Oh, yes. I think we do every time.
That's right. Today, I think what we want to do is we want to start with sellers. In Home Field Advantage, we want to give them a little bit of a nugget of information that could help them. Here's something that can really hurt their listing, and it's all about photographs.
Wow.
It's basically one bad photo in your listing can stop someone from liking your house. Did you know that?
That's crazy, but I believe that. I mean, it's almost like one bad profile picture when the girl swiping through your social media could end everything.
We know that's true.
We know that's true.
There's
yes,
this
yes,
one-
yes. Oh, I can't unsee that, and we're done.
I need to delete that one right now. Not from my pro. I mean, I'm not looking for a girl on
course
Facebook.
not.
But sometimes with the listing, you need to delete that one photo. Sometimes you don't notice.
Wow.
Sometimes there is a jet tub that is not the shower, that has a little bit of tile, but it doesn't go all the way up. And somebody put a shower rod across the top in their primary bathroom just so they could hang clothing to dry, sweaters to dry, and that type of thing. Wow. And what does that do? It makes it look like you have a shower that doesn't have tile that goes all the way up to the ceiling. And people think, that's weird. That is not the right bathroom for me. They don't see another shower in there because that's the other part. The shower was hidden behind the door, and the photographer didn't take a picture of the shower. So
wow.
the combination, what happened in the end was I got a call even from a realtor, and they said the bathroom is strange. We've been there even. See, it's actually this is different because the thing is hidden, but we've been there. We didn't understand the shower. Like, we didn't understand the jet tub. We don't think there is a shower in the primary bathroom. I said, hold on, let me look at the old listing pictures. And I had to look 2 listings deep to find a picture of this hidden shower in the little water closet across from the toilet.
Wow.
But this is something that I've always thought. I've always thought that if you have one photo in your house where you've got wood paneling in all the rooms, or maybe there's one room that's pink and green stripes, do you think that makes a difference? I mean, what kind of a difference do you think that would make in a husband and wife or whoever is searching for homes on the internet? What would they think when they see that green and pink striped room, even in a house that has all other normal pictures, neutral pictures?
Well, Luke, here's what I will say to that. We have a category of buyers that I know Luke knows very well, who will tell you that they will, quote unquote, know it when they see it. When they see the pink and green stripes, they know that ain't the one. Those buyers, it's over. You get one shot and it's over. Okay. There might be some people that are willing to be handy, but it's trending in the opposite direction when it comes to the people's willingness to get down and dirty on a house that they're and maybe it's the fact that interest rates are a little bit higher and so the cost of ownership is going up, and so if I'm going to make this huge sacrifice just to get in the house, I don't want to keep having to sacrifice once I got the house. Okay,
that's one thing. I mean, could it also be that we're not as handy as we used to be as human beings? As adults, did we not paint, and paint walls and scrape paint and scrape things off of this and remove that and nail that and screw this thing? I mean, we probably screwed up a lot of things, but did we fix anything when we were growing up? And if we didn't fix anything when we were growing up, maybe we don't have the capacity to fix things. The Fixer Upper, it's a nice, fun TV show to watch, but do people want to buy that anymore? Some do.
The optimist in me wants to push back because I know how much of a nerd that I am and how much I've learned seeking out information on video, that when I first got my first house, before YouTube existed, yes, I'm that old, there was a large hardbook orange book from Home Depot.
Oh, yep. I had a blue one.
We've talked about that on here. And that was what you had to go to, a literal handyman encyclopedia. And there was sections on how to do just about everything. And so now in a world where it's so much easier to see somebody, fix their own car or replace their own floor, you would think by the nature of how free this information is, I had to buy the book. YouTube's free, okay? You would think that those numbers would be in reverse, but we also still have more than half of the people in the United States that think that the sun actually revolves around the earth instead of the other way around. So
that's also from that stuff being available. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here or anything like that, but you also have to think about, it's kind of like you do projects like that at your house when you don't have something else that you want to do.
Come on.
And now it's so easy when you have a sliver of a moment with nothing to do. You don't really even need to brainstorm what you should do, like an improvement to this, or you could fix that. You could just get on your phone and you could have the good intentions to get on your phone to look to find out how to do that. And then all of a sudden you could just be taken away by what we call the doom scrolling. It doesn't happen to everybody, but we know it's a phenomenon and it's happening to some people out there. The point is, sellers, make sure that all your rooms and all your photos look good, because the context clues might distract people, just like doom scrolling distracts them away from the idea that they should paint a wall.
Yeah, and also you have to be the one that has to maybe direct your own agent as the places in the house that you're the least secure about. You've been living there, you know what you love about the house, and you know that part of the house that you wish would never have pictures taken of it. Let them know so that way we don't accidentally have that picture go live and confuse a bunch of people.
This is true. Well, let's turn this around and let's talk about it from the buyer angle. Yeah. For the buyer, don't you think that a good way to find a deal is to find an ugly house? Find a house that other buyers are turned away from by the photos and go look at that thing, because there's probably going to be less competition and there's probably going to be a discount and an opportunity for you to do a little bit of simple work and make some profit.
Come on.
Buy at a discount. What do you think about that?
You already know what I think about that, man. Yeah. My middle name is Hustler, okay? I'm always looking for deals. I'm always looking for ways to create value, and buying a place that has been loved but just not been updated is the best way to do it. If you're going to know nothing else about home investing, buying the ugliest house in the best neighborhood that you can afford to buy in is the number one strategy when it comes to picking something that you are going to make money on. Okay. How much money you make comes down to skill, ability, timing, and all that stuff. But, that strategy alone. But yes, I will always, I don't care if the interest rates are high, the interest rates are low, always look for those houses, because number one reason why you're going to have an advantage, besides the fact that nobody really wants to do all that stuff, everybody's just kind of, is because a lot of these people are going into assisted living situations.
Ooh, yeah.
And what I have come to learn as an agent is, unfortunately, people whose only source of income or net worth is their homes. If they go into one of those situations and they don't have the best insurance or they have government Medicaid, it's most likely that that money is going to be turned over to the government anyway.
Clawback.
Exactly. So those people who are going to be in assisted living for the rest of their life, they don't even, most of the time, not every time, but in my experience, most of the time, that money never actually is something that enriches them. It essentially is because when you go on to Medicaid for the rest of your life, you can't if you being unable to afford the services that you need is a requirement for it. So they're not going to allow you to receive government services and have $200,000 in a nest egg from the house that you just sold. You have to have no money. And so they'll literally take it and put it in a whatever, so that way, when it is gone, you're still taken care of.
And if anybody's out there is thinking that those folks should not sell their house for less than it's worth, or they should, that's a crooked way to deal with, government services. All that money should go to the government to pay for those services that they're going to receive. I mean, if they make a little bit more money on the sale, it may go to the government, from when they claw that back or when they seize their assets or whatever you want to call it. And it may not, it may get distributed to the family in some way. And, maybe moving faster and selling that house quicker and allowing somebody to move in and fix it up is better. And even passing that equity on to someone that's going to do the right thing to that house and really improve it and bring it back to its original luster is the more noble thing to do, the better thing to do. And, gets that money back into, the private sector where we all want it to be, right? Isn't that what the theme is these days? Oh, I don't know why I do that.
Oh, why do you do
I don't
this
know
to
why I
me?
do that.
But a lot of it comes down to agents. If you have the right agent who is not going to turn their nose up every time there's a little bit of work to be done, that's going to empower you and let you know, hey, there was a time when I didn't think that I could do painting, that I didn't think I could do tiling or flooring, and look what I was able to do. I think that plays a big part into it because, these people are coming to us with their hopes and dreams in their hand, and if we're turning our nose up every time there's a little bit of work, that transfers to them.
If you gave your buyers the orange book that you got when you were a budding homeowner, do you think they would ever open it? I don't want to be cynical. Do you think they would laugh? Would they find it humorous? Like, oh, you gave me a book, or would it be a turning point for 20% of your buyers or 40% of your buyers?
If it only helped 10% of my buyers, it would be worth every book that I handed out, because at the end of the day, you can lead somebody to water, but you can't force them to drink it. It is what it is, and, I've learned that, a lot of people aren't willing to do things for themselves, but I was that person. That's why I don't lose hope. I was that person that every time there was something that needed to be done on my house, I was so ignorant to what it would take to get done that I would assume it was going to be a lot worse than it actually did. And then when you make some calls, you do some research, you actually nut up and just, try to tackle it, you realize that many times, not every time, sometimes it goes the other way. And that's why you end up jaded every time something happens. But a lot of times it's not as bad as you think it is.
I don't have any idea how I started thinking that I was going to do home improvement projects at my house. I don't know what it was. I think maybe I stumbled across the Toto program, Topeka Opportunity to Own. And this is a program where they come in and fix up a house. It's a first-time buyer program in Topeka, and they give you like $35,000 to put a new roof on and do some plumbing and do some improvement. And I got approved for the program, and there were contractors lined up, and a friend of mine was like, we could do that. We could do that work. And I was like,
They gave you the money?
Let's do it.
No.
They gave us, I broke the program, dude. You're not supposed
You must have been the last guy ever that they just stroked the check to. Are you kidding me?
It took like a year and a half. Yeah, I broke the program. You didn't know.
You never told me that part. It's because he was trying to sell me the house, folks. He didn't. See,
he almost bought it from me.
Ooh.
You should have bought it from me. You should have bought it.
Sounds like I shouldn't have.
We tried, and
sounds like I now that I know you actually did.
Oh, come on now! You better look at the details of my work. You better look.
Yeah, that was weird. When you
Our
learn
deal-
how to swing a hammer, yeah. Oh, I'm excited now.
I'll change the oil in your car right now. Tell me I'll fix something else. I'll fix anything.
Oh.
No, anyway, our deal got broken by a $9,000 sewer. No, a $12,000 sewer in the alley, and I ended up getting it done for $5,000 because I did it myself. Just kidding. Okay,
This
all right.
is incredible.
So I wanted to talk about a tip for an agent, though. Like, let's say that you have your seller and they don't want to paint the green and the pink striped room. What can you say to that seller? I believe that you can tell them about the buyers that are out there looking online. We've talked about it a little bit before, but if a seller won't paint the room and the whole rest of the house is neutral, you just tell them that's the one context clue that anybody who reads and thinks in terms of context clues will tip them off that there might be other things in that house that they don't want to deal with. They don't want to look at, and that they're going to have to paint also. So we either hide the room and don't put it in the pictures, or we paint the room. And I think that, agents, is the script that you use with your sellers to convince them to get over the hump and eliminate something that turns buyers off.
That's right. And one other thing that I would say as well is that you could use as a script is, as an agent, our job is to get the highest percentage of the available buyers to at least consider your house. Okay.
Yeah.
And we know that we could argue on the percentage of people who see that one picture and completely stop considering the house at that point. We could argue that. But if that number is any amount that's an appreciable amount, it's still a problem, because we have now lessened the pie of people that are even going to consider that house in the first place. And so, to effectively do my job the best that I can do, this is what I suggest. I've got a couple painters. If you don't, here's their number.
We have to keep doing our job. Like, it's not super easy to sell houses that are on the market. We're coming out of this market of a couple of years where you put anything on and it will sell.
Yeah.
Things may change. They may not. It's definitely a little rougher than it was 2 years ago. So we have to operate like we just have to prepare our sellers the best that we possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing all the time now. You're out there competing. You're competing as a buyer, as a buyer's agent in that market too. And this is my segue to a story for you that you just went through when you were the first one into a house with your buyer and you wanted to get an offer in now, get that house bought before anybody else came in and bought it out from under you.
Yeah, one of my philosophies, if you get into a house that you know is desirable early, is to strike first, strike hard, no mercy. No, just kidding. Not that last part. I think it's like Cobra Kai.
Bloodsport?
But seriously, if you're gonna have a chance, hit them with an offer that they can't refuse. And maybe even go the Luke route and put a deadline on that offer, so they don't just take your offer and say, well, I got 7 other showings over the weekend.
Ugh.
You're not going to just use my offer and say, well, if you can beat this one I'm looking at right now. So this is what I'm into.
That's my deadline voice.
Now, in this particular case, this is an agent that's not even from Topeka, that is originally from Topeka, lives in Missouri now, had an investment property here in Topeka that they were deciding to sell. So not only is this, this agent letting me know about this house as soon as it hits the market, but it's her house.
Oh, she owns it.
She owns the house. Her husband owns it.
I didn't know about that vein of the story.
Yeah. So we get in there. I'm working with a guy who wants to move quickly. We have already sold his house. He is living with a family right now, and he is not loving the lack of privacy. So every house that is in his price range, we are seriously considering. We get in there. We're the first ones to see it. I look like a hero because I know about the house before it even hits the market, right? We get in there.
Superpower.
Yeah, and we stay there for at least 50 minutes. I mean, damn near an hour, And this house is only 1,100 square feet. Okay, this is $150,000 house.
Yeah.
And he tells me that I want it. Would you? And he's a deal maker. He's a hustler.
You guys friends? Were you guys friends before this? Or?
No, but I did sell his house, and we've had enough. We've had enough conversation that I feel like I can speak frankly with this person.
Sure. Okay.
And he's been frank with me. And so, he says, let's put an offer in on this house. And I say, look, man, you're trying to get a discount. Would you want me to just text her right now and just say, because there's no middleman. She's not middlemanning this. When I'm texting her, hey, would you do this? I'm asking the people who own the damn house, would you do this deal? And he says, yeah, that would be perfect. Let's just do that. And that may have been the first mistake.
What day of the week was this? Thursday?
Wednesday,
okay,
something like that. Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went on a Tuesday, and Wednesday is when I got the news. This is about a week ago. Okay. So that was my first mistake. I'm not a big fan of text offers. And if it is a text offer, it had better be very gosh heckin' simple. Okay. Cash deal, closing on this day, not a lot to really consider, But I don't like that. But I did it anyway. I suggested it. Okay. And a little back and forth, and she says she's going to talk it over with her husband. She'll get back with me, but he's sure this is the house. So I think it was 10 o'clock that night. I think it was after I went to sleep. I get a text from her. We accept the deal.
Okay, that sounds good. That doesn't feel funny.
That feels great.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm feeling like I done it again. I done made a deal happen.
And that's good. When you felt funny about sending a text message offer, because you wouldn't normally do that to somebody that you don't know, but this is an agent that's a friend of yours, an acquaintance at least, and that, hey, they respect me. I can, in this case, for an extraordinary deal, for extraordinary timing, I can make an exception here, and I will send a text message offer. This is non-binding. This is, this is not technical. And that's why I don't do text message offers like this with people that I don't know, right?
Yeah. And not only am I acquainted with her, she and I were friends before any of us ever had dreams of being in real estate. We go back that far.
Dang.
We used to work at Sonic together. Okay.
Oh, all right.
So the first text message I send him, and he's a guy that stays up really late and doesn't normally get up until around noon. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know that guy.
So the first text message I send him at 7:30 a.m. Wake your ass up. We got a deal, baby. Woo! Okay. 2.5 hours later at 10 o'clock a.m. I don't want the house after all.
He's still sleepy.
I can't get past the asbestos siding. I have to drill holes in it to install my house alarm cameras, and I'm not going to be dealing with asbestos dust. Too dangerous for me. Plus, I wouldn't have extra money to pay someone to install those cameras. I'd have to drill a lot of holes for the camera mounts and wiring. I know how to do all that work, but I can't mess with asbestos.
Dude, that's like 15 holes.
Plus, I'd have to drill 4 3/4-inch holes for the wiring all the way through the wall to plug in my cameras outside the house. That asbestos side would probably crack like glass. It's mandatory that I have my camera set up on the outside of my house. That asbestos is a deal breaker for me. I didn't get to sleep till daylight thinking about this decision. I'm sorry. I'm going to pass on that house.
So he didn't go to sleep until 6, and he's texting you at 10. The man's on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah, something like that.
Everybody knows you need at least 8 hours.
So my first response is, well, maybe I can let him know that his dealing with asbestos isn't as bad as he thinks it is. There's a lot of terrible rumors about asbestos. And about it causing cancer. And what it turns out were the people who are getting cancer were people that are working with asbestos for their entire career. Back when, corporations used to take care of people and they would actually stay there for 40 years and they would pay their wife after they were dead. Yeah, I know. It was a different time. And those were the people that were getting mesothelioma. And it turns out most of the people that actually got it were also chronic smokers. So it was a mix of the two things. So having a house that has asbestos siding or possibly working around asbestos for one day with a stinking mask on is not going to put you in any kind of danger. But I will admit, the dude is clean. He is a clean freak, and he's got some OCD about him. So I send him a little YouTube short that shows that, hey, man, you can do whatever you want with the asbestos because they make I knew there was companies that make vinyl products that match the old asbestos that you can't buy anymore. Okay, so you can find your particular asbestos siding, you can rip the old ones off and just replace it with whatever. And it also talks about, how dangerous it is. And then he texts me back and he says, look, I wouldn't even have any extra money to be buying the siding pieces. I don't want to deal with that asbestos. Sorry. So at this moment, I had a choice. I was obviously very, very upset, and I could have let it breathe.
Wait. Let's take a break here real quick, like you should have done. Okay. And I just want to say asbestos siding is everywhere.
Yes.
It's all over the place. There's asbestos flooring in people's basements right now that you just know it's there, and then you don't go mass disturb it. You don't go and take all your siding off and breathe all the dust while that's happening. You don't go and remove the floor and leave all the dust in your house and breathe the floor. And when you have vermiculite insulation in your attic, sometimes you just leave it alone. You leave all that stuff alone. Yeah, he's drilling. Yeah, you just don't dustify your asbestos. Now, are you calm now? Yeah. Have you calmed down?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, we did it.
Yeah, but at this moment, I did not take a breather. I went ahead and let him know how I actually feel.
A breather.
And because of the fact that I told you that I felt like he and I could speak frankly, this was my chance to maybe set a little bit of a boundary.
Don't tell Frank off. Don't do it.
I said, well, you definitely have made me look stupid on this one. Please don't tell me to make an offer on a house that you aren't sure about. My reputation is my entire business. And if I'm going to be honest, the excuse about the asbestos siding makes no sense to me at all. Thousands of homes have it, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. Have a nice weekend.
Very kind at the end. Very kind. Chris was in my office like moments after this happened. Possibly, I don't know how much time had transpired until I saw you, and then we talked about this.
Yes.
And in a moment like that, you need some counseling. Yes. As an agent, you need somebody. An agent needs an agent. Really, yeah. That's what agents do for people. And I think it might have been better if it wasn't happening at 6 a.m. or whatever, because you could have talked to him about it before he made his decision. But anyway, so that was rough, man. That's how did it all turn out in terms of your relationship with the other agent? Were they mad? Did you need to tell Frank frankly the things that you did, and how do you feel about what you told him?
The way that I chose to explain to the agent, my friend, that this deal was not going to happen, it was something that made my stomach upset. So how do I explain this the easiest way? Well, I'm usually the guy that tries to go to the most direct point, and so I took a screenshot of him passing on the house and my response, and I said, "I'm so sorry that this is happening. At this point, he may never call me again, but it is what it is, and I'm very, very sorry that this happened." So because at this point they had an open house scheduled.
They hadn't canceled it, hopefully.
No, but they almost.
They had changed their plans.
Sense, they were ready to.
Yeah, they thought they had a deal.
There you go.
Yep.
And so
quite unsettling for many.
So she was very, very graceful when it comes to receiving that, and she said, and you could tell that that the way that I admonished my client was something that was part of her feeling like, hey, damn, okay.
Well, I think you said it. I mean, you have to, as an agent, you have to be direct. You can't sugarcoat a message to your client so much that they don't understand what you mean about what they've done or what they're planning to do. And then also when you communicate disappointment or something similar to that to another agent, to the other side, you also have to be direct with them. You have to tell them what it is. And when you do that, people respect you. Frank over here, he might even respect you for that. He might feel a little sheepish about his asbestos feelings, but since you told him, you guys might still be able to recover. He might say the right things to you. Hopefully he'll be direct with you, and things will, come back to center as they have with the agent whose house you didn't really get to sell. You tried. They probably knew that the situation with the text offer too was not 100%. So it might not be as bad as it felt even for you in how they're, feeling about the news. Hopefully. What do you think?
Well, I mean, let's just wrap it on up and tell everybody what ended up happening and how he responded.
Okay. Didn't know this happened yet.
And he had in fact decided to not respond to my text message. So essentially that was, I think, I don't know, Friday or something like that. And the entire weekend went by, and I pretty much felt like I was not going to hear from him again. He's a guy that has pride. Have a guy talking to him like that might have just said, you know what, he's bought houses without me before. He can do it again. He's got cash. And then I get a text message all of a sudden on Sunday from him, and it was almost as if nothing ever even happened. And he said this: "If that Wayne house is still available, I'd like to go over there one more time to look at things on the outside of the house. If there's any outlets outside the house, or if there's any power outlets inside the garage, and also I'd like to know if the Ring doorbell is wired or battery. Is it already pre-wired? And is there any? I want to look at all this stuff, and maybe we never got to look in the garage. I'd like to see if it could, And listen, hey, and if it's already pending, no big deal. But I was hungover that day, and I should have looked at the house more thoroughly, and maybe you can find out that Ring camera has wiring, and that would make it so much easier." And all I texted
Did you
him
sell it?
Yeah.
Is it the same house?
Yes.
Shut up, man.
Yes.
This is over.
Yes.
The show's over. But do we?
Yes.
Can we?
Yes.
All right. Hey.
Yes. So
there we go.
So when
Thank
I took a screenshot of whatever that was and sent it over to the lady, it says, "Looks like we're going to give this another chance." Turns out the open house was kind of productive, but they didn't have any offers. And come on home. And
That's how it goes, guys.
we spent another whole hour over there and put in an offer. And I think we should be good to go. We did it right. We actually we slowed down.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Text messages are so quick, it's like, shooting an automatic gun. When you have to actually put the gun together, you might take time and say, "Do I really want to go shoot this guy?" We have to Forrest Gump the gun
Sure. Yeah.
Why did you put that gun together so fast? Because you told me to, sir. Okay, sorry. That's intrusive thoughts.
Guys, in real estate, you have to be real. You have to communicate with someone like you're giving them life advice. And that's what you did with that guy. You called him to the carpet a little bit, but at the same time, when things are moving fast for a guy like that too, buyer's remorse is not abnormal. I mean,
yes.
In the past couple of years, when people were buying houses after being in them for 20 minutes, and then if they backed out, somebody else would buy it in another 20 minutes, buyer's remorse was all over the place. So that guy had it. Things were moving fast. You told him how it is. Everything came full circle in a couple of days over that nice weekend, and Frank bought that house because he wanted it. He just talked himself out of it in the wee hours of the morning. Okay. All right. A story of triumph. A story of gratification. And now that brings us to homeology. Okay,
Yes,
we're just going to make a quick mention of the 10-year Treasury note rate. I hope all of our folks out there in this world are watching the 10-year Treasury note rate every day, like you and I.
Oh yeah, we get
claim
USA
that we
Today.
are. Yeah.
We get USA Today thrown and delivered to our house every single week. We're on this stuff.
Oh my gosh. The key point is what we've learned over the past couple of years, because we're told about this all the time, is that when it's the relationship between the interest rate on that particular note and mortgage interest rates that we experience out in the field with buyers and sellers, they are inverse. So when the rate on that 10-year Treasury note is going down, interest rates are going up. And when that rate is going up, then mortgage interest rates are going down. And it has to do with who is investing in what types of financial vehicles. So last week, that note was going up and interest rates went down just a little bit.
Yeah, just a hair. In fact, I had to buy a car, And the guy did something really cool for me. We got in there, and he said, and he had just gotten a call from a local credit union about what the next round of rates were going to be the next day. And he said, "Well, here's what we're going to do. We found out that the rates are going to go down a half a point tomorrow. We're going to hold your paperwork here today, and then I'm not even going to submit it until tomorrow. We're going to post date everything so you can take advantage of those rates." So
tomorrow is key, because when you look at, actually, when I was saying, I was like, what? Because mortgage rates went up last week. Well, when you look at it, the 10-year Treasury note rate went up last week, and now this week, at the beginning of the week, the mortgage interest rates have fallen for 2 days straight.
It's like a game of Pong.
There you go. That's how you can keep an eye on it. It's not always going to be as an immediate of a response, but if you were thinking of buying a house very soon, or you've got buyers that are on the fence, watch that 10-year Treasury note interest rate.
Come on.
Also, just to pepper it in, the Mortgage Bankers Association is forecasting, or actually measuring, a 2% increase in mortgage applications so far this year over year. So 2% increase. That means if you sold 50 buyers last year, then this year you're going to sell
51.
Wow.
Woo! Yeah,
that's
2%,
right.
Come on.
Hey, I'll take it.
That's right.
And you know what? I mean, if it's just 2% increase, I mean, think about how many more cash buyers there are out there too, or people that have a lot of cash because of equity in their home when they sell their home.
Yeah.
You should sell your home, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. Let's do it. You got a lot of equity.
That's right.
Okay, on to Full House, where sometimes we talk about some design trends. I just want to ask a question, man to man here, flipper to flipper here. I want to talk about cabinet doors or cabinet faces.
Wow.
This is something that I look at, and I'm just like, those are wood. I like those. Those are nice. There are other aspects of the cabinet door.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
They've got the inset, that's very important. The one I really want to ask about is the arch at the top on the cabinet door face.
Oh, wow.
Do you hate it? Does it bother you?
No. Listen.
Neil's shaking his head. I don't know what it means.
Listen. No, if you have if you have a contemporary home and it has those arches on there, to me, that's a sign of next level stuff, opulence. That ain't just do you wear the black shoes or the white shoes? No, that is, you're spending more money on that type of stuff. 100%.
Yeah.
And so it speaks to me in that way. I can tolerate any of them, but I like that. I like art.
So for us, because I get the opposite feedback from people. People say, nah, I don't like those arches up there, and because I think what's happening is that we're going into houses that were opulent, where people spent the money on those cabinets, and they've got the arches at the top, but it's not the new arches.
It's
the
trendy
style from the 20 years ago of opulence. For me, I just don't care. I mean, does that really make a difference to people? I mean, maybe they look old. Maybe the cabinets got painted.
I know exactly what's happening here, Lou. Okay, you've been in the game a while, a couple of decades, in fact.
Oh man,
almost a couple of decades. When is your 20-year anniversary? Let's break that down.
Should be like August of 27.
So he's got 17 and a half years in the biz. Mm-hmm. And so he's been getting a lot more clients who are on their second, third purchase. So they're getting up there in home. And he's got way more of those buyers than I do. But he and I both came from the same place as far as our parents didn't have no money.
They're nice cabinets.
Okay? And so we're starting to get pickiness to some degrees that it's hard for us to really understand.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the buyers can't even articulate.
Yeah.
They just say, it ain't my style, and there ain't no selling around it.
They might not articulate it to their buyer agent, but we have to intellectually understand it. Even if it doesn't register with us emotionally as something that we don't like, we have to understand and articulate for them sometimes what they're going to like, and even what's going to sell, what's going to be best for resale. Even though you paint those doors, Chris and I just buy it anyway.
And listen, you damn right. And listen, though, that's another reason why your real estate consultant needs to be somebody that you talk with, not every time you're trying to buy or sell, but if you're thinking about doing a major renovation to your kitchen and you know that at some point you're going to grow out of that house, or you want to do this for the next 10 years, maybe you have a chat, because you just prove that going with the higher end version of something does not guarantee that you're going to get that money back when it's time to sell it, or that somebody's going to agree with what you picked that was high end at that time. I mean, if there's any level of appointments that go out of style quicker than anything else, it's the higher end stuff. Think about fashion. Yeah. Think about how quickly stuff goes out of style when you're in that upper echelon, and it's crazy. We don't understand it, okay? But it's a real thing.
It's so ironic that the most enduring style is the simple one. If they just have the inset cabinets and it's just a rectangle going around right there, I guess that's never going to go out of style.
Yeah. And maybe you choose a couple of them and you throw the glass in there instead of the wood face, and that brings up a level of opulence. Whether you do every single one of them or you just do a couple of ones that have the grand china inside of it. You know, I've seen that as something that people like all the time.
And you talked about having that conversation about doing the remodel, you know, and I'm not sure what other businesses there are out there other than real estate where you go into somebody's personal loved item and then you tell them that's not good. You spent a lot of money on that, but you got to change that because if you're going to sell it, people don't like that.
Yeah.
You know, that hurts.
Yeah.
That's a hard message to deliver to our clients. And you don't just say it like that.
Yes, it takes some skill. That's the difference between somebody who's number one. There's three things that can happen. You're going to have somebody that's so scared that they don't bring up the problem. Then when the house doesn't sell in a month, then they bring it up and say, well, a lot of people said, and they're thinking in their heads, man, if you were a real professional, you would have given us a chance. You should have saw that coming, you know, that kind of thing.
But do they? Do they even think that you should have saw it coming? I don't even know if they do. But if you do see it coming, that is definitely an advantage. It's a definite level up on the service. Seeing it coming is one thing. Being able to deliver the message persuasively is another thing.
Well, that's the second person is you deliver the message and you don't deliver it so well and they take a little bit of umbrage with it. And then the master is the person that delivers the message. They don't feel bad about it. They completely understand it, and you deliver it in a way that makes them say, oh yeah, it's a no-brainer. Let's just, I have a distinct style. And so words like a distinct style doesn't necessarily mean, you know, you like ugly crap, you know, but
it's the umbrage, you know, you have to find a bridge over the umbrage, you know, and maybe that's what is so intriguing about London and Great Britain and why they've built those bridges in that way so opulently. I mean, that's just that's the only way to get over the umbrage.
That's right. You got to come together.
Take
build
it
that
to the next level. Wow. We did it.
This guy is really training to be a dad, isn't he, folks?
That's all I got. That's all I ever had.
He's training hard, and I am here for it.
Doing my thing, guys. All right. Well, we like to laugh. You know, here's a dad segue. We like to laugh, and it's time for the house party.
Let's go.
I just want to talk about where you party in your house. You've got a lot of different areas, you know. It used to be when you were a kid, you had to party outside. You know, you might have had a playroom, but maybe you were just partying on the jungle gym. But now we have the house. We got the whole thing. Where is it? What's your spot, man? Do you know?
Well, I know. I mean, I've held a get together or two, and you know the way our home is set up, the most obvious gathering place is right there in our living room, and our kitchen are all just one big, massive area. In fact, the way this house was built is when you get to the area of our dining room and our kitchen, it's actually built up a step for whatever reason. But I love it because the area is so big that having the dining area about a foot above the living room area allows it to where you can still hear it. You know, like if it was all one level, it wouldn't flow as well as it does. That tiered setup really makes it to where that's the obvious place to hang out. We've got the couches that'll hold 7 or 8 people. Then we've got a 6-person dining room set. And then we're right by the kitchen, which isn't really closed off, but you're not cooking and watching TV at the same time either. But that's where we're going to have all the drinks, all the food. And when you get of a certain age, you don't go to parties unless they got a nice selection of food and drink. That's what you're going for, okay? So we need to be near the food and the drink. So we're not going down into the basement. We're not going into the converted back porch that is, a nice little area, but wouldn't hold all the people. We're right in the heart of the home.
In my mind, in your place, I see hanging out in that back area, that room with all the windows that looks out into the backyard and whatnot. But also, when I envision your house, I open the door and I look out, and there you guys are right up there. That's where everybody's at. Everybody's also hanging out down here. Your place is really cool for entertaining, man.
Thank you.
I really like that.
You've been entertained. He sold me my house. He's been entertained at the house. So he's qualified to say what he's saying right now.
Yep. Full package there.
Yeah. So how about you?
In our place.
Because you got options. It depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
Are we using the pool? Are we not using the pool?
Yeah.
Speak to that.
We do have options, and we also have the deck, and we've got the underdeck area, So where are we going to be? Let me check my app for my house so I can pick the party area. No, I mean, really, it is about the season, And what I want to talk about is like the main part of the house inside, and we really gravitate to the kitchen and the dining area. We've got the most chairs there. We like to play card games and board games and that kind of thing. So we end up at the dinner table. If it's light outside still, you can look out the back of, the windows and see the trees and the land and whatnot. And that's really satisfying. All the food is right there on the island. So like you said, obviously we're going to be right there.
There's a fireplace for a little ambiance too as well in that area.
Little hearth area with the couch that nobody ever sits in. Nobody, it doesn't matter what kind of ottoman you put right there. Everybody's at the table. They like to be standing around the island. And I've made efforts lately.
That's where the food and the drink are. I've
been trying to move people into the living room, onto the big sectional. I mean, this thing is huge, man. I got this thing from a listing. This is like a $6,000 couch that I got for $800.
It's nice. I've sat on it. You can.
People walk in and
people dang there.
Oh yeah, you can definitely get 10. And people are like, wow, this couch. They're laid out like this. They're like, this thing it's spacious, and there's 3 other people doing the same thing, but it's really hard to get people in there, So I think
that's where the food ain't there, baby. I'm telling you.
All right, I'm gonna make
unless you got something on TV, unless we're there to watch a game.
Yeah.
Now, what happens when you have people over for a football game?
It is.
Do they sit their butts down there?
Both. They still gravitate into the hearth and in the dining room too. I need to get WaffleBot, man. I need WaffleBot or the thing from Hanover Pancake House to come in and bring in my food.
Come on.
Yeah. I need Rosie from the Jetsons.
That's right. Or what was the one called in Rocky 4?
I don't know.
You don't remember when Uncle Paulie had the
Harold and Kumar.
Oh man, you're messing up.
We'll get back to you guys on that. We appreciate you being here. We do need to check in with Neil here for home stretch right now. Home run. What you got, sir? Anything else you need from us?
You were talking about cabinet doors.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something that I noticed first thing when I walk into a kitchen.
Ooh.
Now you're going to notice it too.
Uh-oh.
What are your feelings on the, what do they call it? The decorative.
The hardware?
Balance.
I know what you're talking about.
Balance. That's
cabinets
above
the sink?
Kitchen sink.
Okay.
I've heard it's a signature.
So for me, I love them. I love them so hard because it was almost like they just decided you had to have them there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. They serve absolutely no purpose. And I love them. I'm sorry.
It might have a purpose, It might be that light fixtures were so non-advanced that you had to hide the fixture, Maybe you needed that wood piece up above your sink so that when you walked into the kitchen, you didn't immediately see a light fixture. Maybe that's what it was.
See, but I don't have a light up there, but I think I have something that bridges the gap.
Yeah.
That's that gap bridger between, a couple sets of...
I heard also that it was a signature of custom woods cabinets out of Maple Hill. But I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know do you have custom woods cabinets from?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I mean,
You'd probably know because of the little logo inside on the side of the drawer. So I guess everybody was doing it. Maybe it's the shape that was the signature.
Sounds like you hate them.
You don't like the shape, or you don't like that it's there?
Both.
Huh.
I mean, I don't mind if it's there, if it's just a flat.
Oh, it's when they do the ampersand or whatever.
Oh yeah, remember those? Like it should be a bed headboard or something like that.
Yeah, that's where he gets offended. I'm gonna take a picture of mine when I get home because I can't even visualize it, which shows me that maybe I don't love it as much as I thought I did.
I'm gonna look to see if I have one. I don't think I do.
Hanging from it too.
Oh hell no! Well, no, hell no! What the hell we hide? No, we gonna look them dishes right in the eye.
I want the curtain. Well, okay.
Now let me ask you this though.
Yeah,
Does your house has a window above the sink, or does it
does.
not?
It does.
It's so weird when it's not there, isn't it?
Sure. Well, yeah.
That is weird.
Somebody told me yesterday. I was in a house yesterday. I'm selling her current house. She told me that she's going to replace the countertops in the new house, and her cabinets are so small that she has to turn her plates to the side to put them in the cabinet. I said,
Jeez.
You could get new plates. That's what I said. I mean, that's funny, right? I mean, I said, no, nobody wants new plates.
That's right. Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
she's gonna, and she has granite countertops or quartz maybe.
Yeah.
She's gonna remove them and move the cabinets too, just so she can move her sink underneath the window. And I get it. It's her forever home. So you want to be looking out at something pretty at the backyard and nice bunch of landscaping out there.
Man,
if you're stuck.
I wonder what
at
the first house type was that made that so popular that it became you better not do it. Now that will make a house not sell.
Yeah.
Something that silly.
I've had it. Yeah. I had that 2 months ago where somebody was like, yeah, I like everything except for what I'm looking at when I'm doing dishes. I was like, you could put a window in there too, because it's actually we were talking about moving the sink again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting
Okay.
question.
That
You
was
have
great.
it too, though, don't you?
Oh, I definitely have a window. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're looking out to like fields of green back there.
right.
And bluebirds dancing and
That's right.
Thumper jumping off the ledge and all that kind of stuff. Okay, guys. Well, you came back to see us again. We love you. We need you. You're here with Hangin.
With the homeboys.
Like, share, subscribe, comment too.
That's right.
We'll
See you
talk to you.
next time.
Bye, guys.